So good afternoon on this beautiful sunny afternoon in Brittany. We are enjoying a bit of sunshine. We've got about 5 days of good temperatures left. The rapeseed is just starting to go over, so this last 5 days of good weather will be just perfect to round off our nectar flow. And I can tell you the bees are still going in absolutely hell for leather. And if I can stand in the passage here and show you, it's absolutely amazing, the passage of bees here. But I'm going to make this into the cell builder in a minute, but first I've got something spectacular to share with you. The news is I got my building permit in the post. And I'm doubly surprised because you remember I was having a rant the other day because the documents weren't sent in and I was like, "Argh." So we sent in the documents that day. But you'll see here on my gate, I have to now advertise the fact that the building permit has been issued. And the law says in France that that means that I have now a 2-month period where someone else can actually contest the application. Your permit number, there it is. You've got to put the date it was issued, and that was the 20th. Okay, the beneficiary, Monsieur Noel Richard, and the construction of a miellerie with panneaux solaires on the roof. So a workshop miellerie with panels on the roof. This ruling, this law is kind of quite, I think, fairly fair. It means that the planning department have seen everything as far as they're concerned. I've got the certificates at the start, the certificate of urbanism, then it progressed to the plans. The plans went in, they asked for something extra last week and they got it really quickly because my architect got his finger out. And straight away they've said, yep, no problem at all. So there it is. This is kind of the standard form you have to advertise in France. And it gives, if anyone wants to contest it, my neighbours over there might be a bit anxious, I don't know. I get on with them really well, I doubt it very much, but it's their right if they want to ask something about it or whatever. But it's the way it is in France. If you don't, you can't fight it, it's the law, you have to just go with it. So no, this has to stay here for 2 months. And then at the end of the 2 months, then I can start building and the sign will stay there during the building process if anyone wants to ask about it. But it means it's all above board. The commune will also advertise this application in their local Gazette, which is their monthly magazine. So that'll probably get the curtains twitching, all a bit of fun. But anyway, I'm just delighted. It means now I can just get on with my summer work and time will tick away, and in probably 3 months' time, I'll be able to think about getting the quote started. So I've had a quote for the concrete base, which is pretty high, but I've got a stonemason up the road who's just retired, so he's kind of neutral in this, and he's actually said to me, it's about right, but the other quote I got to fit the septic tank and the groundwork is actually way cheaper than I ever imagined. So one counteracts the other. So you just think, right, well, I might well go with the local guys here, and everyone's happy because we all know who we are, and things get done pretty quick then, I hope, and I know the people I'm dealing with. So that's absolutely great news. So, you know, kind of quite bowled over really when that came through the door about the speed of it all. And I think the thing was, I'm not building a house here. It's a workshop that's in plenty of space. It's next to the other one out the way. It's in keeping with the area. You know, it's beautiful, this place. I don't want to wreck it, you know. I don't want to make it look untidy. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just really pleased to be able to get that done, and that's now on the way, and I just have to wait. The kind of clock is ticking. So I thought it'd be pretty good if I just kind of leave the camera in front a little bit further back this time so you can see me doing the procedure. First I've got to finish this tea, then we're going to get into cell building mode. I've been out all day doing apiary clearance, just getting that fine balance now. I've got some wonderful amounts of honey on top of the hives. I'm so pleased. I don't know how the hell I'm going to pull it off, make all these queens and make splits and get it all done before the honey crystallizes, but I just got to do the best I can. Right, tea in, done. Smoker, working just. You'll see right behind me all this hawthorn, and it's wonderful to be amongst it all. The wind's actually coming from behind, so we've got a very sheltered area here. And for cell building later in the day, it's brilliant really, because we can get away with a lot. So I'm going to break the cell builder down and just get on with it and how I normally would, and you'll see, and I'll talk through it as we do it. So I'll do it myself because the bees will probably be a bit nanksy at the start, as they often are, and I am going to wear gloves. We're going to have a lot of confusion, but they're nice bees. They've had a good day sunshine. The weather's more settled, so let's just see what happens, shall we? We've got to check for cells. Why? Because you can't have a cell in a cell builder. So remember, 10 days ago, it was actually 8 days ago, but I'm saying 10, we added 10 frames of brood in this box to here, to this section. On here already is a super that was on this already strong colony that was already, I checked for queen cells first. I took the super off, checked for queen cells, put the super back on. Then I added the 10 frames of brood from my brood factories. And then I added another super on top, because as this gets hatched out, it backfills and gets full of honey. But there's so many bees in this box now that the capacity to handle honey is increased. So that's why there's such a massive passage now of bees coming and going. And that's what we're going to utilize as well. And the wonderful thing is, we keep that passage of bees going, but we've got to cater for that when we make the cell builder up, okay? We've got to put some comb in as well, otherwise in a flow they'll build on the cells. So we've got to be careful with that. But the cells are going to go in later tonight. First of all, let's make this hopelessly queenless. This is where the fun starts. So I'm going to put my roof down on the floor so I can put the supers on it for now. Just going to get something that's going to help me a great deal. Bear with me a second. So I've just been and picked up a couple of hive stands I had kicking around. These are perfect for temporary hive stands for bees. Because the ground's a bit uneven as well, I'm probably going to put the queen there in the box, and I'll temporarily put her probably there when I move the box away. That was lucky. Okay, so I hope you can see both those tires. Let's just move this camera a tiny bit so you can. Right, yes, you can easily. We were all right. Okay, so let's get going. Let's disrupt this colony. My goodness me. This is the top super I added a few days ago. So I bet this is going to be full of honey. I'm going to show you this first. Look at the bees, massive passage. Look at that. So that is the top super added in cold weather. So it's had a super, a brood box, and another super. Absolutely brilliant. And they're going to keep building that out. But I'll take that off, and that's going to go to the side as well for now. Let's just go back to where we were. Just wanted to show you that. Here we go. Okay, we've got room now, we're organised-ish. First top off. It's full of honey, top of the hatching brood. We put a super above it, wow! To give them extra space. Put that on here for now. And I probably might even take some bees out of that, because a lot of bees will be in that. So this is the brood we added. We have to remember we've got to look for cells in this, but we'll do that in a minute. But overall, that's fine. There's a lot of honey in that as well. So you remember I put these handles on here. This is why I put the handles on, because it weighs a ton, okay? So this is a box we're gonna make our queens with. Right, let's lift this off if we can. It all weighs an absolute ton at the moment. I'm gonna put that on top of here because we're still above the excluder. Absolutely incredible. This is one of the strongest flows I've ever had to build cells in. Look what they've done to the top of this. Because obviously at the bottom of the brood box there's a bit of space. Woo! So I think I'm going to add this super in a minute to here when I've taken the bees out. But this is going to be a bit of a long process, this is. But we'll get through it. So, let's have a look at these supers. See what state it is. And I saw some today that were virtually capped. So I'm going to have to get my act together and get ready to start pulling. Look at that. Beautiful. Nice and liquid, not crystallized. This one can go, oh, where's this going to go? On the other tyre for now. That can go on the roof of there. See the problems you have when you're doing stuff to bees. So this is a queen right section, and I'm going to leave that, as I said, to one side for the minute, because that section is going to go here instead. So let's move this away. As I do that, I'm actually going to slide this hive a little bit up, because I don't want a lot of the bees to go to there instead, because the two hives are virtually identical. That's the problem. Let's move this out of the way. I'm going to put this behind me for now, because I'm going to go through it after and shake some brood out, don't forget. So now I have a new base. This goes down, same place. Exactly the same place, because the bees only know one place, don't forget that. On goes the brood box. And in this brood, there is no larvae. There is no eggs. There is nothing to make a new queen with, I hope. And no, there won't be, because it's way too old. So that goes on there. There we go. The bees are straight back to the place they know. Now what do we have to do? We've got to check this for cells. Every single frame we've got to check. Can't miss any out. See, they're backfilling this. It's exactly what I wanted to see. They're backfilling this with nectar. As that brood hatches out, it's just a frame of honey, you know? So that's one frame I can definitely take out if I need to, which is brilliant. So I will take that one out because all the brood has hatched. Give or take a few tiny bits at the bottom. Let's put that to one side for a minute. We need at least 3 out, because we're going to put pollen frames in that I haven't found yet, but I will find. Backed up with nectar, no cells. That little bit of brood there can stay there, so that goes to the back. Nearly all hatched out again. No eggs, no larvae, just hatching bees and no cells here. Check everything, shake the bees off if you need to. All hatching beautifully, that, exactly what I wanted to see. Okay, I'm just going to spin that one around, because that's a slightly odd shaped frame. Honey everywhere. All backfilled. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what we are checking for. So we elevated the brood above the brood nest, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. There is a monstrous, well-made queen cell. This is like a little treat for me. It's my own feed of raw jelly. My mate thinks this is gross. So I removed the queen, she's enormous. And you've got a massive load of raw jelly there, look at that. Tastes amazing. Very intense. So that's one cell, there's another one this side. Just going to dispose of that one. That's now done. So we've stopped at least 2 cells hatching. There's actually no more brood in that to hatch, so I'm going to take that frame out as well. And that's good, because it gives me room straight away. That is what would stop your cell builder from working if you didn't check every frame. Another queen cell. I'll show you this one. You see that curve on it? It's like a sneaky one. They couldn't finish it, so they bent it round. That's what you've got to watch for. Okay? You've got to watch for stuff like that. Because if you don't, you'll have a queen in your cell builder. And that will not work. So, that was good. Very good. So don't forget, already we've artificially swarmed this colony because the queen is behind me. So she's already not here. So the minute you take the queen away, that pheromone starts to dissipate. And within an hour or so, they know the queen is gone. So that's just honey. Again, this flow is absolutely massive. And these bees are beautiful. No problems at all with these. Don't need gloves. Only time you need gloves is when you're handling them quickly and you're not being careful like that, because it gets sticky. No cells, just closed, just open cups, but there's no larvae to fill them. Wonderful. A little bit of smoke just to get the bees off the top of the frames. This is where we're going to start to see this now. Okay? Nearly all hatched. All that side has. Tiny bit left here to hatch. But that's perfect. No cells. You must shake the bees off. You must check every single one. You really cannot afford to leave any cells in a cell builder, okay? It's just not worth the risk. Drone brood here. That's fine. We can cope with that. Goodness me, they're boiling out of here, look. Last one to check, then it gets even more fun. No cells. Oh, one more cell this side. Beautiful. What a beast. Yep, that's gross, but tastes delicious. You can't get better raw jelly than that. Straight out the cell. Look at these bees, look, they're so beautiful. You can just pick them up in lumps and then they start sticking to your fingers because they're so sticky full of honey. But we're good, they're all fanning now, so I know that they're all like just trying to attract the queen back in or whatever they think is missing. It wouldn't be that quick, I know, but it's just kind of like weird that they're all fanning straight away. But anyway, that is now a hopelessly queenless cell builder. It wasn't hopelessly queenless technically before because we still had queen cells in it, but now it is. Done. So now what do? We've got supers to shake bees out of, and we've got the brood box. So I'm going to take bees out of the brood box now first. But let's put the shaker box on, because that's key to getting this queen free. Off you get, girls. I could have done with my brush, but it's not in the truck, I don't think. Not to hand anyway. Okay. Right. So our shaker box is ready to start shaking. Let's take off the queen excluder. There'll be a lot of drones in the top of the shaker box this time of year. So this is the bonus. This is where we shake extra bees in, and if we find the queen, we cage her. This is still full of brood, this frames, look. Beautiful. Look at the brood on that. Got a queen cell there starting this side, because that queen is probably feeling there's so many bees in that colony. I generally tend to shake most of the bees out of the brood nest out of preference because it's just easy and they stay when you put them, they don't fly around much. Got a nice lot of pollen in this frame as well. So think we're going to keep that as a pollen frame anyway, because that's perfectly acceptable to do that, and that is the rammed with pollen, that one. So that one's going to stay here. And I could put one of those ones back in if I needed to, but I want to put some foundation back in it after, so they can build. Just nectar and pollen and hatching brood. Brood and bees, and they're not even moving when I've just shaken them back into the top here. Another frame of pollen. In fact, I'm going to keep that one as well, because this will add more bees to the box. Perfect. Seeing if I can see the queen here, and at the moment I can't. Remember, I marked her the other day. So, how many frames of bees do you shake out the brood box? Well, me, I shake out about, out of the 10, I shake out about 6 or 7, and then I leave about 3 frames of bees and brood, so that'll hatch out quickly, but it's also fairly warm now, and that'll give enough to keep the queen going and keep her looked after, but she will reduce her urge to swarm because she's now lost that massive amount of bees that were looking after her and giving her so much feed. So we're going to do one more frame. I haven't seen the queen yet. Which isn't a problem. And that'll do. I'm going to leave the rest of these in here. There's a whole frame of bees and brood there, and one at the end, and the other one next to it. So it's just enough there to keep that colony warm. That's all honey, so the bees will come off of there after. Another queen cell here, just starting. So I think this queen is ready to go. So let's give that, our pollen frames are going to be ready there, sorry. So I'm going to put this brood back in there. So this colony is massively diminished now in numbers, but as far as we know, the queen's still in there. It doesn't matter if she isn't, she'll turn up in the box if she's here or if she's in there. Let's see what we can find. I'd like to get most of these bees through now, because I'm going to shake another load of bees from those supers in. And those supers are going to go back on top of another colony after, of a colony that's pretty full, just to get them finished somewhere else, because it takes the pressure off of here. That's the problem when you're building in a flow, you know. Let's look at that beautiful white wax there. A lot of drones get caught above this when you shake the brood frames out, but I'll let them back in after. Just seeing if I can see the queen, and I don't see her here. She may be in the bottom of the other box, because when queens get swarmy and they stop laying, they're often hanging around at the bottom of the box. But you just have to accept that fact, and I can't see her, and I don't think she's there. So now we're going to also shake bees from the other boxes, okay? But I'm pretty happy there's no queen in this, so I'm just going to turn this over and shake out all these drones to get them out of the way, and they can do their own thing. Okay, well, that's that off. Smoke these off again before I crush them. Okay, let's add some more brood from the other box, from the supers. The problem is, It's the dilemma now. What do you do? Do you just put that on another colony? No, because I know there's loads of nurse bees in there, I'd like to shake them out. I'm going to put the super on here first, next to me, and then I can just shake these bees into it dead easily, because there's a lot of bees in this. And then this will go on top of another colony that's strong. Wow, full of bees. Remember, these are already technically queenless because they were above an excluder, so, but I'm still shaking them into the box because it's just the easiest thing to do. And what I will do is I'll put a brand new brood box, a brand new, look at that honey, beautiful. Not finished yet, not cured, but as I say, I'm putting a brand new super on this box when it's finished, because that will just give a little bit extra protection. Now, someone asked me, do I put any comb or anything else in the colony when I'm building to stop them building on the grafts? Yes, I will do, and I do, because when they're on the grafts, you have to put in a frame of foundation probably 2 or 3 times during the week if you're building a week, and that keeps the bees occupied. Okay, it gives them something to do. So let's put this over out the way for a minute. I'll deal with that after. Just got an awful lot of bees out of there, and these guys I'm going to brush over, but there's nectar everywhere, got to be careful. Now I'm going to do the same with the other one. Goodness me, this is epic today. You can hear the confusion now. Let's also cover this up. Cover up the one that I've taken the bees and brood from and put that honey back in it while I've got a chance. And then we swap that around and that honey is protected. These frames of pollen are going to go back in. It all gets a bit... I'm actually a little bit disorganised. I should have had a pollen frame already, but I haven't yet. But that's fine. So then we took those frames out because they were already hatched and there's nothing else apart from honey in them. The other frames I kept out from the other colony, they are just full of pollen. And because we have a flow on, it doesn't really make a problem, it doesn't make an issue. There'll probably be enough feed anyway, is what I'm trying to say. But we want to make sure there will be. Come on guys, I just want to put this on top and I can shake your bees through. It's a catch-22. If you don't shake out the bees, then if you don't shake them out, then what happens is you end up with you lose a lot of your worker bees that are going to be doing the business. But if you shake them out, then you might get them covered in honey. And it's much more work, but hey ho, such is life, as we say. Look at this confusion we're getting here now. I don't know who's confused more, me or the bees. But it's so sticky and full of honey. Just going to leave that one out. Just let these bees shake down. Just get the majority of these off, and I'll give this to another colony and put a fresh one on top after. That'll do it. That's the majority out. Okay. There we go, good. Right, Another one done here. There might be some robbing going on intermittently. There could be on this one while I'm waiting to put that back onto another colony, but to be honest, there probably won't be because there's just so much nectar around. And this time of year you can get away with that. But look at that. We'll check for a queen again, but it's unlikely there's a queen because there's nothing been laying in the top there. We are done. This is set up. Just try and get these through. It's easier to smoke them down than it is tip them all out, but so I'm ready to do my grafts. They don't want to kind of go through. We'll have to just tip them into the top. But there's no queen in that. All fanning like mad. Wondering what the heck's going on. Okay. So we can just turn these upside down. Knock them in. That is the cell builder made up. And it'll take a little while for them to settle down. A few bees all over the place. Pollen frame. That's the side. Which side did I want? That's the side. See that nice pollen there? And I'm going to take one more frame out. Because also I want to put, I'm going to clean this off as well so I see it's the one I clean, so it's the pollen frame. I'll probably mark it later actually with a pen. I'm going to take the one out next door as well. And that'll give me even more room. Goodness me, what a difficult job it is trying to get cells built in the peak of a flow. Okay, that's got brood in. I think there's one this side that didn't have brood. No brood. That's what I want. Good. Tiny bit there. I'll put that in another colony later on. It's nice and warm. Nothing on that side. Tiny bit of brood on the other side. Good. All hatched out. Look at that nectar. So, we are nearly there. So look at this fanning going on. I think this colony was getting ready to swarm because it's basically losing it, if you know what I mean. So there's no bar at the bottom. Remember, I took that out, so that's easy. So the frames fall down. And then this other pollen frame is going to go in. Look at that wonderful pollen. That's what bees need. And there you go. That's ready for the grafts. Okay? So I can put the top back on. Get all these bees back in, just look at these bees, there's like millions of them. And they'll all just make their way back in the front. Look at it, unbelievable. Just boiling over. This is a spring cell builder. Okay, I'm going to find a route for this now. I'm also going to put the one back on the other colony, and that will do. Oh, I've got a spare board here, perfect. I've got a covered roof I'm going to find afterwards, but I'm just going to pop this on now, very lightly, and then that will just keep them, they'll just settle down. In fact, I'll leave the front open a bit, and they can use that as a vent, because there's so many bees in that box, you see. So let's have a look at this from the front. Let me come round here. So, that's what you call a good cell builder, okay? Absolutely bursting with nurse bees, and all is well. Not much more I can really do now other than get my grafts ready for later. There is actually a handle here. You see that there? There it is. So all the bees that are outside are still coming back in. Absolutely fantastic. And I've got pollen in there. I'm actually also going to take out another frame afterwards and put in a frame of foundation and put a super on top of it tonight. But I don't want them to really go in the super, but as you can see there's more than enough bees, but I have to make sure I keep on top of that nectar. But there you go, that is one of the ways I set up my cell builders. There is loads and loads of ways of doing cell builders. We just take an already strong colony and make it even stronger. and we give it everything it needs. The bees only know this place, you see, because the bees that were there before, they were born there. The bees that we put in were born into that place, and they're nurse bees that can't fly anyway. And we know that nurse bees do the business. So the queen is there, she'll stay there. I'll probably put her on a tire, actually. I'll move that a little bit further away. We think she's in that box, but if she isn't, no big deal. There's plenty of brood to hatch, and there's enough bees in that box to cover the brood for now. And it's fairly warm. And they've got loads of nectar coming in because of all these flowers, and it's pretty wonderful. So we're going to graft this evening in about an hour and a half's time. I usually would make this up a little bit earlier, but I ran short because I had to do another job today. But overall, complete success. Just look at those bees. I'll get also get a roof after that. I can put a feeder on with a hole in, and then that will be absolutely brilliant. So we'll leave that for now and come back after. Speak to you later. So I'm just driving back down the garden. Only it's 150 meters, but I actually need my kit down there. And I've been out to do some parental duties after I made up the cell builder, as we do. And now I'm going to do this graft. So we're going to get away with it, I think. It's getting a bit late. Look at this. That's the Prunus pedis, or bird cherry I was telling you about. Every year when I see this, I know that my flow is nearly over. Okay, so we've got about 5 days left of all this lovely hawthorn. There's another Prunus pedis that's seedling there I've let grow. And look at the oak catkins. Can you see those on the trees? They're just about finished as well. But they've been spectacular this year. So oaks give a lot of pollen. But they all come at the time when everything else is out and about. So I'm just going to go down. We'll get a quick look at the cell builder before we go and graft. And we're going to get some frames out of the selected breeder queen, and we'll see where we go from there. Just about to lose the sun on the cell builder. Everything's calming down a bit. Pretty good. That looks pretty good to me. Let's go and find some larvae. So we are at my breeder queen. This is my Marken from the Marken Isles from 2 years ago, as I said before. We added this fourth super the other day, 2 days ago. And the top two are completely full. The third one was nearly full, but I found some, as I said, I found some supersedure cells, probably swarm cells, but they were mid-frame, so I'm thinking more, they know she's getting old and she wants to throw queen cell. But as far as I know, she's still in the box. She was still laying 2 days ago, and I got rid of all the cells. So let's see what we can find. I've got to get her out. I hope I can find enough larvae in here. I just want to get these next batch of grafts done, and then I can really feel that I've made the best of this queen. And even if I didn't, I'd still be happy because she's done marvellously. But I just want to graft now, that's all though. Blimey, there's some weight in these. I should have had a sheet on top of here, but beautiful. Packed full of bees. I ain't going to be very happy, but I'm going to leave them all in the box. And I'll be able to put the whole lot, all the stack on here. These frames are getting pretty filled. These were all brand new. Just look at that. All nearly completely capped, both sides. So that's ready to harvest. To be honest, I could easily harvest that now, but we'll see. I might start pulling a bit of honey. We'll see. But it's just so much to do, and I don't want to start something and not be able to do it properly. Oh my word, that weighs an absolute ton. But they are brand new frames, all drawn up, and I'm delighted with that. The bees are really nice generally here. I'm going to have to put this back after I've got the frame off. Just to get the... this isn't ideal. I should really put maybe another frame on another colony, but, you know, I might even leave them like that for now. This is the third one I added. Not quite filled. Well, actually they are filled, but not quite capped over yet, you see. Still being finished. So that's brilliant. Wow. That one is even more filled. What a breeder queen, eh? This is the kind of queen you want to breed from. Beautiful. Okay. Let's take this one off and see what they've done with the other one today. Be interesting to see. That's the third one. Oh, there's a lot of weight in there. And the fourth one, they are building away, but only just starting. You can see there's already nectar in there. Look at that, they've filled about half of it with nectar, but it means they've got room, which is the most important thing. So we'll put this all on one. I might put a piece of wood on top of one of them and leave the others to one side for now. That's great to be able to get that off. So I'll leave that like that. The heat that's rising will be trapped underneath this polystyrene. I'm going to put just a plain cover, or put the feeder top back on the other one while I do the graft, you see. So that'll be fine there for a little while, just while I sort this out. You can go inside now, find some nice larvae. I put this frame in 2 days ago, and look at that. Absolutely fantastic. See, they're pulling this one out. I put in 2 frames. That's been pulled out, as well as the new frame started. We've had crappy weather until today, so it's the first time we've had some decent weather. Let's look at the second frame I put in. That's a previous one, so I'm going to go one over. See if I can find... No, I'm not going to get much out of that, am I? That's just capped brood. This is the kind of brood we're talking about at the moment, you see? Look at that. This is why you need a decent breeder queen. You're letting someone else do the work for you. And you come along and graft and you get much better results. You get good F1s and F2s. Another frame of brood. I mean, you know, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There is some larvae there, but they're way too big. Yes, it takes me time to do this, but you know, I'm going to end up with some good cells, and you know, this might look a bit more promising. Okay, we've got some queen cells there at the bottom. This is the frame I wanted. We're just starting to make those cups. I've got my brush. Yes, there it is. Check the no queen on this. There she is. There's the mama. She's still looking good. She's still doing the biz. So this frame is the one I want. I'm going to put her at the back of the hive for now, because I don't want her to come to any harm. Just going to turn her around and grab her. And she's been an amazing queen. Come on, dear. Don't be shy. Let's put you down in there. Right at the back. There we go. So I brush these bees off. I'm not going to shake these because this is a soft frame and it's just been made up, and also it's good practice not to shake the larvae you're going to graft from too hard, and I just rather brush these bees. They're quite nice bees anyway, as you can see. We can look at this frame. Takes a little time to get them all off, but then we're done. Let's see what we got in here. Well, these are absolutely perfect. There's such a cross section here. I'll find plenty in here. Yeah, both sides have got just tiny larvae, as well as, the only thing is it's not dark comb, but I'll just have to make that do. So that's all hatching. So it's a little bit cool, so I'm going to not hang around here. I know the queen where she is. I know where this frame's got to go back in. So let's just leave this with a temporary cover on. The queen is in the box. I don't want to put all this honey back on yet because it's just too much work. This is only going to be out for 15-20 minutes. So I'm going to leave everything now and come back with the frame after. So we'll take our smoker with us, take the frame, let's get back up to the house rapido. So I'm back in my kitchen now grafting, and this is how I generally do it. I don't mess around. I just graft like this quickly, and these cups are straight from the packet. I don't pre-soak them, pre-whatever, put them in the colony. I use a Chinese grafting tool, which I absolutely love, and it works fine for me. So I'm literally just scooping up these larvae. There's loads in this side. Absolutely perfect. Let's see how we get on the first graft of the year. First one in. You probably can't even see that, but that's the way it should be. If you can't see it, it's the right size. Believe it or not. If you've got a well-fed colony in a flow, you are literally scooping up raw jelly and there happens to be a larvae in it. I do tend to wear glasses now because I'm ancient now. It helps me. Can smell the honey on this frame. It absolutely reeks of nectar. The nectar's just being cured. I put this frame in before I went away and she's laid it up completely. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is actually remove that queen after this flow is off, or put her into a nuke, and then I can manage her a bit better depending on how she is. If she's still trying to throw cells, I'm going to move her out of that area because I need to keep an eye on her. She's valuable stock until I get my new breeder queen. Anyway, this is how quick it is. I like my read on the grafting. See that? When you scoop up that cell, you just push it off that way. I like the read on my Chinese grafting tool to be quite loose, but also bent so it slips underneath. It doesn't always work, and this frame is more awkward because the colour, the frame is still a light colour because they've just drawn it up, but it works absolutely fine. It'll take me about 20 minutes to do 14 times 4, and then these will go straight into the cell builder. People say, oh, you should get something to hold the frame. Well, I could do, but it's like, you know, it just works. You can't hang around, just get on and get it done. There's always, when I've got my new building done, I'm hoping I'll have maybe a grafting suite where I have a holder, where I can have a frame hold and all that, make it a bit better. But when you're in your own kitchen, it's not always that easy. And you're trying to do all your kids' stuff and be social and all the rest of it. It's you just got to fit grafting in where you can. I generally graft of an evening, and the next day I take the cells out, put them into finishers, manage the finishers, and then I get on with the next lot. That's what works for me. So that's one bar done already. I'll finish the next lot and I'll see you after. Okay, so I've just done my grafts, but it's actually pretty chilly out there. So I'm going to put these straight in the grafting frame. First time I've used this since last year. And then I'm going to put them in that nuke box. The reason why, it just gives that little bit of protection from the wind as I go down. And it means I can put these upside down, I hope, into the cell, into the box like this. I'm hoping they're going to fit in. It's a little trick I do, and I'll keep the box that way so they don't fall out. But it means that they are protected from the wind on the way down. And I'll be able to put the other frame in that's still got the larvae in, just to hold the wind off of it so it doesn't cool down too much. Just about fits in there. That'll do. I'll put this on and I can carry it down now. Done. There's our cell builder. Imagine all the bees are going to be sticking to this. I'm going to find a proper roof for this after. It's a knock. And I'm going to drop my, incidentally the heat here is unreal. Okay, so I'm going to get these out very carefully. And hopefully I'll get them straight in. See, like that, they come down, and they are. There's my, just get that brood frame out for the moment. Let's put that there, just so I can quickly grab it. There we go. This is a delicate part, because I don't want to drop my cells. And in the bar, if they are slightly loose, they're loose now, but when you take them back out again, they won't be when you when they've been in there for a while. So this is my first graft of the year. In it goes. Let's drop these in. In they go. And you'll see when they go in, the bees will almost jump on them. But there's so many bees, you have to leave that sink down, look, while the bees move out of the way. There they go. Right. And we can actually move this across now, because that's why I ground off the, so I can push the frames closer together, you see? That's how it works. So there's my pollen, there's my other pollen, and this is the cell bar. So I'm also going to lift out one of these frames now and put in a sheet of foundation as well. But first, I'm going to take this back and sort this, put this straight back into the colony and get that all rectified as well. You can see the epicness of grafting in a flow, how difficult it is. It doesn't matter really if I don't cover this over much. I'm just going to cover that over with a slight polystyrene. I'm going to get the proper roof out in a minute, but I'm going to get this sorted out and get that done. Then I can come back and finalise this. Am I going to put a feeder on tonight? No, because there's just so much nectar everywhere. I'm just not going to have time to do it. It just doesn't need it, you know. So anyway, that is a good day's work. The graft is in. My first graft is in now, and tomorrow I will take those out. If I can get them out late morning, I will. I might get 2 batches in tomorrow. Because don't forget, you can take them out after a night or even after 6 hours if you've got the thing set up correctly, because it will draw and start those cells, and then you can transfer them to finishers. But I've got to make some more finishers here. I've got a couple already. There's one there, there's 2 there, there's 1 the other side, so I'm okay for the minute, but I've got to create some more. So I've just taken these out just to see what we're up against, and we've got a pretty good take. I'd say maybe with 2 missing there, full house on the top, maybe 1 missing. Overall pretty good. Let's get them into some finishers. Anyway, whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoyed that. There's a little bit of how I do my cell building. I know you've seen this before, but it's always a good refresher. It keeps me on my toes. Take care. Bye for now.